Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. This is Kel May, the Customer Service Coach with Bottom Line Customer Experience Management. Hi Boldly Living, thank you so much for joining. I train employees, teens, and young adults, hi Kevin, on customer service techniques in order to enhance the customer's experience, which is the best way to increase the bottom line for the company. Today we're going to talk about when you're looking to improve your customer service. What are you actually looking for at that time? As usual, I always want to, hi Miss Sassy, thank you so much for joining. I like to put my information up so you'll be able to have my contact information. As I told, hey Kelvin, hey Candace, so much for joining. Let me turn around. We know I am improvising because I am at the hospital with my father still, but I wanted to make sure the show went on, and I got tired of not doing my scopes because I really miss doing my scopes. I normally do them every day, Monday through Friday. No certain time, but definitely Monday through Friday. So I wanted to get on here and I wanted to do one today, and we want to talk about customer service and the things that you need to look for when you're trying to improve your customer service. Thinking of you and your father, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, Ladenzi Green, thank you so much for joining. So can y'all tell me some of the things you think that you should be looking for when you're trying to improve your customer service? And while you're doing it, I want to tell you a quick story of something that happened this morning, which actually led me to do this scope today. Thank you for sharing and inviting your followers, Candace. I appreciate that. One of the things that, let me go ahead and invite. One of the things that happened today was, this morning I had a tech to come into my father's room, right? And let me share that out. So I had a tech to come into my father's room. Hi, Deborah. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing and inviting your followers. So I had a tech to come into my father's room early this morning, and I was asleep because I haven't left his side since he's been in the hospital since the 27th. That is definitely one of them, consistency, exactly. So I had a tech to come into the room this morning, and she actually, normally they knock on the door before they come into the room, but she actually opened up the door with her rolling equipment that you take the blood pressure and stuff with, right? So it startled me, so I jumped up and I said, "Oh, you scared me." And her response to that was a very negative and nasty response, and it was, "Oh, did you forget you was in the hospital?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't forget I was in the hospital," but that startled me. She was like, "Because people are gonna come in and out." And I'm saying to myself, am I still asleep? Because surely this is not what I'm hearing. So I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted her to go ahead on and get my father vital signs and leave out, right? So that wasn't enough. They were supposed, my father had been NPO, and that means he can't have anything to eat or drink after midnight. He had been there, and they was going to go and take a test at 10 o'clock this morning. Well, they rescheduled the test for 2 o'clock. So that means that he had to stay NPO until 2 o'clock. So I was trying to find something, because of course you get irritated when you're hungry, and he's a diabetic as well. So I was trying to find things that we can do. Exactly. I was trying to find things. Hi Dream, thank you so much for joining. Maintain a positive environment. Exactly. And she did not do that this morning. And this is the first time. So I'm not saying the name of the hospital, because I have had very good nurses, aides, and everyone has been very, very nice and good to us. But this particular one led me to actually do this scope today. So later on, I was trying to find something that we can do to fill that time up. So he just want me laying in the bed thinking about he was hungry. So I said, well, when she came in to do his vital signs again, I said, do you think we can go ahead on? And his test has been rescheduled to 2 o'clock. Can we start and by the time I said she started tapping on the board saying, this is your nurse. You need to call your nurse. And I'm saying, I need to call my nurse for what? To ask them, can she bathe him? I mean, I thought that was your job. I've been a CNA before myself. I thought that was part of your job. So she said, no, you're asking me about the test. I said, no, you're not listening to me. Exactly. Very crazy. I said, no, you're not listening to me. I was telling you, I already know about the test. It's rescheduled to 2 o'clock. I was asking you, could we do the bath so that he wouldn't be waiting around? I said, but I tell you what, go ahead on and excuse yourself and ask them, can I have another tech? Because I'm under enough stress. I don't need to be, this confrontation is going on. I don't need to have that every time you come into the room. I have enough going on. So that made me think about what I wanted to talk about today. And that was hopefully her nurse manager. And I did get someone that was very nice and all of that. So, and they apologized and all of that. Because sometimes it can just be personality conflicts or whatever, but it just wasn't what I wanted to deal with when I'm dealing with my father being sick in the hospital. I don't like to deal with bad customer service no matter where I am, right? So that was one of the things I thought about today. And I thought about, as her nurse manager and as other managers and leaders of your organizations, what are you looking for at the beginning of the year to see what changes you need to make? What are you looking for to see what you need to change in your staff's customer service? What are some of the things that you're looking for? And there are some of the simple things that we don't even think about, because actually her attitude was the first thing, right? It was early in the morning. Maybe she didn't want to come to work. So her attitude needed to be straightened out. I don't know if they had a morning meeting or not, but that is one of the things that can change your attitude in the morning if you have a brief morning meeting where you say things to uplift and motivate your people, right? Because a lot of times when we have to come to work early in the morning, we're not happy, we're not excited. You don't know what has gone on that morning. You know, school is not back in, and she probably thought it was. She didn't have anyone to keep her kids. I don't know. But those things do happen. You know, it could have been very busy on the highway, on the interstate coming here, and she was in prolonged traffic. I don't know what happened. But if you had some type of morning meeting that would allow you to get those little spirits out of you and get you motivated and get you excited about what your job is. And sometime in those meetings, we can remind them of what they're going to be dealing with throughout the day. Now, remember, we have family members who stay here with some of the patients. So be very courteous when you go into the rooms early in the morning, because they may still be asleep even though they know where they are, right? Those are some little things that could have just, you know, it could have, I wouldn't have waken up to that if she had have had some type of morning meeting, right? So those things are important. So pay attention to attitude, but that's something that could have changed the attitude this morning. As I always say, I'm just a leader by nature, and I always think about what I could have done to affect. I'm sorry, some people are just plain old rude. They are, even if everything is going well for them, they are. But I tried to change that because my daddy doesn't like conflict. So, you know, I'm trying to sit here and just, you know, not say anything. And that's not part of my nature to do that. But I'm just thinking about how she could have helped that, or how that could have hindered her, or what things they could have done to stop that from happening, right? So attitude was one of the first ones. And as a leader, I always think what I could have done. You know, if I had been that charge nurse who had to come in there and had to give me someone else, I would have thought about what I could have done to prevent that. Is there anything I could have done to help her be a better person when she started that morning? All those things are important. As a leader, that's what I think about. I don't always necessarily fault that person, right? What I could have done, because I am the leader over that person. It is my responsibility to make sure things go right. So that's one of the things that you think about. You have to think about attitude. So you start paying attention to your employees, and if you're not a manager, if you're not a leader, pay attention to your own attitude. That is something you need to think about in the morning time. If you don't have someone to motivate you, you have to motivate yourself. You have to say those things to yourself. That's something she could have done. If they didn't have a morning meeting, I don't know, because I was asleep. I don't know what they do in the morning time. But if they don't have those, that's something she has to say to remind herself that, you know, I'm going into these rooms early in the morning. They have family members that stay here with them. They may not be up, even though they know we come in at different times of the morning. So let me make sure I not bump the door with the equipment, that I actually do a light little knock so they'll know that I'm coming in. And once I come in, I'm saying, good morning, you know, giving them something nice to think about, and cutting one of the smaller lights on versus the big bright light. You have to talk to yourself sometime if you don't have someone else to motivate you, right? You have to motivate yourself. So making sure your attitude is where it needs to be is very important. But if you are a leader, pay attention to your person's attitude. Don't sugarcoat it. Let them know things that they are not doing right, because that is the only way you can help them. When you're trying to find ways to sugarcoat things, to tell somebody something that they're doing that's not right, you're not helping them. You don't have to be nasty when you tell them, but you need to be real when you tell them. You need to be truthful when you tell them, because you want them to be successful. And at the end of the day, that's what they're going to see. They may not like it at that moment, but at the end of the day, they're going to see that you want their best. You want the best for them, and you want them to be successful. So make sure you're doing that. The other thing, make sure and see, are they interested in what they're actually doing? You know, a lot of people, and I said this the other day, someone has took a job of customer service, and me and my husband were just talking to them when we went down there, and they wasn't smiling, they wasn't talking back. And my reaction was, why do people take jobs that are customer facing if they don't want to deal with customers? I know jobs are hard to get out there sometimes, and you just take whatever you can. But if you're not going to try to do something to help yourself and to better yourself, why would you take a job that's going to be dealing with customers and that's not something that you like? So as a leader and as a manager, you have to pay attention to that. You have to see, are they interested in the job that they have? And if they have no interest at that job, then, if they have no interest at that job, then you have to be able to talk to them and have to be honest with them and let them know this is not the job for you. And why would you have taken a job if you know that you don't like to do things that are customer facing? That's something as a leader you must do. That's something as a manager you must do, because you are not helping them and you are harming yourself. I care a lot about people, but I'm not going to care any more about them than they care about me. It has to be a two-way street in there. So be very, very visual of that, of singing, do they have any interest in the job that they're actually doing? And what type of action are they doing? Over 90% of customers consider taking ownership as the primary factor in the wow customer service. Taking ownership. It may not be something that they have even done, but they take ownership of it and they say, you know what? It doesn't matter who did this or who didn't do it right. I'm going to make sure it's done correctly, and I'm going to take care of you. That's important. Do they have that type of attitude? Do they have that type of customer service? Are they always trying to blame someone else to make themselves look better? All those things are important. So you have to make sure your people are not doing that. If they are doing things like that, you should be able to see it, because I always say, as a manager, even though we have things to do that's in the back office, we have to spend 90% of our time around our employees, right? That's the only way we can be a good manager. You cannot spend the majority of your time in an office and you're not seeing what's going on your floor. So those are things that you should be looking for. The other thing is verbal language. Now, even though she may have tried to smile when she said that, or did a little laugh after she said, oh, did you forget you was in the hospital? That was not nice, right? That was verbal language that was not good. Now, those are things you should be looking at. How are your people talking to the customers? That's important, right? What are they saying to the customer? Are they being facetious with the customer? Are they being nasty with the customer? What tone of voice do they have when they're talking to your customers? Those things are important. Those are the things that you should be paying attention to. See what would have made me lose my cool? Yeah, it almost did, but I have learned, especially since I've started being the customer service coach full time in my own job, my own business. I have come to not react as I normally would have, right? So I have to make sure I try to teach them something in the end. That's what I feel like I need to do, because my motto and my passion is to grow and develop people. So that's even though I'm upset with her, I'm trying to tell her, you're just not paying attention to me. You're not paying attention to what I'm saying. You're not listening to me. So hopefully that would help her when she go on to the next patient, right? So those things like that we try to do. So verbal language is important. Listen to what your people are saying when they're talking to their patients. And don't always let them know that you're paying attention to them, because you don't always want them to know that. You want them to think that you're not paying attention to them. But you are always paying attention to them. I was very good at that. They would think that I'm straightening up something. They would think that I'm talking to someone else. I'm sorry, someone else is on the phone standing here. So let her talk.
Anybody in your family have something?
So, but you have to make sure that you're doing that. You have to make sure that you're listening to them, and don't always let them know that you're listening to them and that you're paying attention to what they're doing, because you want to be, you always want to trust people, right? But you want to always verify that they're doing the right thing. So you want to see how they're talking to your customers, because at the end of the day, even though you're a team, if you're over that team, you're the one that's going to take the responsibility when things go wrong, right? And then you're not doing it because you want to sneak and find out things that they're not doing right. You only want to find that out because you want to help them get better. And that's the conversation that you need to have. It's not about, I just want to see what you're not doing right so I can write you up. I want to help you get better. So that's why I get out and I do these observations and things, because I want to see how you're taking care of the customers. So if you're having a problem with that, I can help you, and I can help you grow, right? And I can develop you. So when other positions become available, you'll be one of the ones that they're looking for. So that's important. Body language, and I always talk about body language. Body language and facial expressions are hand in hand. You always have to think about that when you're talking. You can be doing a smile on your face, but your body can be saying something totally different. You can be saying something nice to the person, but they're looking at your body language. Because I rarely listen to what people say. I look at what they're doing when they're talking to me. I look at what my employees are doing when they're talking to customers. I don't really listen to what they're saying first off. I need to see, because that's what customers are going to look for. If you're head of the team, they represent you and your business. Exactly, Candy. Excuse me, exactly. But I always believe in a team, so I'm always out there in the gutter with my team. I always love to be out there so I can know what's going on. I don't want someone to call and tell me what's going on. I want to be able to see it so I can stop it right then. I don't need someone to leave the company and the store, the locations, and come back and then call me because you left and I can't do anything about that. So I like to be there with them in the trenches so that we can go ahead on and correct whatever is going wrong. That is the responsibility of a manager. So we have to make sure that we're doing that. So always look at your facial expressions and your body language, because that says so much more to a person than what's actually coming out of your mouth. That's extremely, extremely, extremely important. Then your tone of voice. When you're talking to a person, and even if you're angry with that person, because we're all human and we all get angry, right? But we have to remember in some way that is our customer, right? Without them, we wouldn't have a business. I don't care if it's the hospital, and I know people get sick and people are going to come here, so they're always going to be in business. But guess what? They can still require an axe to go somewhere else. They don't necessarily have to come to this particular hospital. So you still, hi Marvin, so you still will be losing business. So you always have to think about that as an entrepreneur, as a leader, and if you're an employee, you still have to think about that. If it was not for those customers that are coming in that door, you wouldn't have a business or you wouldn't have a job. So every time they come in, you should be grateful to come in and take care of them. I say the same thing about utility companies. They're always very nasty because they feel like you can't switch and go somewhere else, or you don't want to switch and go somewhere else. They should be happy that those people are coming in. You should be happy that those people are calling, because without those customers calling, you wouldn't have a job. They can use some more of that automation, right? So you always have to remember that. So remember your tone of voice when you're talking. That goes right with your body language and your facial expression. Tone of voice is very important. Your tone sets the tone for your customer. Exactly. And you can't always match their tone. When they're upset and they say something with a high-pitched voice and to let you know that you're upset, that they're upset, you can't match them. You still stay down here, and it doesn't mean, because you could have done nothing wrong, so it doesn't mean that you're just, bowing down to them. But remember, they're the customer. You need them. And at some point, if you cannot, that country came out there and punt. At some point, you can't, you may not be able to distinguish whatever's going on. You may have to give it over to your manager, your leader, your supervisor, whomever. But always let them know, keep that tone of voice. So even, hi, Mr. Corn, thank you so much for joining. You have to let them know that they still need to have the right, tone of voice, because when your manager, your supervisor come and talk to them, at the end, even though they're upset with you, because like I was upset with her, but I still said some good things about her, because I don't always place the blame on somebody else. Hi there. I don't always try to place the blame on someone else, because I know that I am very forward. I know I'm very outspoken, and I know I said something in reaction to her when she said, did you forget you were in the hospital? Because I'm like, I've been here since the 24/7. I know I haven't forgotten that I'm here. My problem, if I had dealt with someone like that, I'm a New Yorker. Well, I'm not a New Yorker, but I'm an Alabamian. And I know that I can say some things that I sometimes shouldn't say, but as a Christian, I'm still working on that every day. So, but we have to remember, because, as a Christian, as a customer service coach, we have to remember that people are still looking at us. So how can I go out and train someone else if I am behaving that way? They're not going to listen to me. So I have to make sure that my responses, are what I'm actually teaching, right? Because you never know who's going to send a participant to my class. You never know what business that I'm going to have to go and train their employees. So I have to make sure that I am sending the right message when I do that. Exactly. So you have to make sure, you have to think about all of that. Even on here sometime, when we get the trolls and we get those Russian people that come on here, sometimes you get very upset. and you want to say something quickly, but then you have to think about, I'm on live video, so I can't say what I really want to say. Then you have to fix your facial expressions very, very quickly. So you have to think about that. Excuse me 1 second, y'all. These are your boxes here. You
Yeah.
want me to bring them around to the thing? Do you need them right now?
We're just taking everything down, so.
I'll bring it to the nurse's station in just 1 second if you don't mind.
No problem.
Thank you. I was borrowing their boxes, so I wanted to get permission to, because she was pulling the tree down. But anyhow, we have to make sure, I have to make sure the signal that I'm sending is the same one that I'm teaching. So I like to make sure, I don't want to be on here saying one thing, in my class saying another thing, but when people see me out in public, I'm doing something totally different. I have to make sure, because guess what? I am my brand, right? The name of my business is Bottom Line Customer Experience Management, but Kel May is the business. I am the business. You never know what blessings around the corner. Exactly. So you want to make sure you act the right way. And I tell entrepreneurs that all the time. You have to remember, when you're out in public, you have to dress a certain way. You know, you can't go out and just look at any kind of way, because you never know when you're going to meet. Just like Mr. Quan said, you don't never know when you're going to get a blessing. You don't never know when you're going to meet a customer, when you're out. And sometimes, you just run into the store or whatever. But you have to be careful how you treat different people when you go out, because, I don't like bad customer service, and I will let you know if you give me bad customer service. That is just me. That's what I do before I became the coach, right? When I was just selling fine jewelry, when I was just being a CNA, when I was doing all of those things, I still wanted people to value me as a customer. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do now. So let's recap. Make sure when you're paying attention to, if you're a leader, a supervisor, team lead, manager, business owner, pay attention to these things. But if you don't have someone that is giving you these things, if you are like a frontline worker or something, you don't have anyone doing that, you listen to this so you can make sure you do these things for yourself, and you pay attention to these things for yourself so that you can enhance your customer's experience. Because anytime you enhance the customer's experience, you're going to get more money. I can actually do videos on selling. I've always been the top salesperson at every company I've ever been on. I've always worked on commission, so I've always made the most money. But it's not about the sales. It's about the customer service. It's about the customer's experience. You have to make sure that you're taking care of the customer. If you are taking care of that customer and then ask them all the follow-up questions, you're going to get the sale. The strength of our actions should match the strength of our words. Exactly, Mr. Quan. So you have to make sure that you're doing that. So that's important. So let's just recap. Remember, attitude. Make sure that you have interest in whatever you're doing. So if you don't like to do things that are, if you don't like dealing with customers, if you don't like dealing with the public, I got to run, Kel, but this was a great scope. Thank you so much, Candace. I appreciate that. I'm going to be on your, be buying me some jewelry in a few minutes. She's going to have an online sale, y'all. But if you don't like customers, if you don't like to talk to the public, don't take a customer service job. Don't take a job dealing with the public. Don't take a customer-facing job. That's important. But make sure that your actions, make sure that you don't always try to blame something on someone else, even if it is someone else's responsibility. You take that responsibility and you take care of the problem. That's important, because that's your actions. That's what you actually do, and that's what we're paying attention to. Your verbal language, that's extremely important. What comes out of your mouth. But even more important than that is your body language and your facial expression. That is so important. That's something, I'm 46, and I'm still working on that to the day, because my face will say a lot of things that my mind and my mouth may not say, but my face will definitely say it. And you can read something on my face. The other thing is tone of voice. Don't try to match that person's tone of voice if they're upset with you, if they're angry with somebody and you're having a conversation with them. Don't try to match what their tone is. Try to come down, because that's going to calm the conversation. And another thing I like to do, and it's a little country twig, and I'm just that mother figure, and I just have that mother attitude all the time. But in that country attitude, I like to touch people like on their shoulder or on their hand, to let them know, even when they're upset, to let them know, I understand you. I empathize with you, and I am going to do my best to take care of you. That's what that touch is telling them. And they will come down, from being very, very angry. They may not stop being angry at all, but if they're up here, they're going to come to a medium then, because then they understand that I understand them, and I'm here to help them. And we can handle things a lot better from there. Do anyone have any questions for me? Anyone have any comments? Anything that they want to add? Thank you, Mr. Green, coming back, joining again. Do anyone have anything they want to add? Thank you, Mr. Quan. I appreciate that. I have had a hiatus for about a week and a half from Periscope, and I was about to go crazy. I don't normally come on in my sweats and all of that, but I was here with my father. That would be my lesson tomorrow. Exactly. And y'all follow K-Po. That is my little cousin. He's in middle school, but he's on the scope, and he teach about God. Mr. Quan, I would love for you to follow him. He teaches about God, and he also teaches GED on Periscope as well. So that is awesome, awesome sauce for him. So I miss being on here as well. So I was so happy to come back, and I said, you know what? I can't worry about making sure that my hair is done every day, because you can't be in the hospital with your hair done, with all your little fashion jewelry on, with your cute little clothes on. You have to be comfortable, because I'm in this lounger all day long, 24/7. So I have to just make sure I am what I am. But I said, you know what? They say that live video shows the real. This is the real Kel. This is the real Admired Red Rose. This is the real customer service coach. So tell him to follow me. Kelvin, follow Mr. Quan. That would be awesome. He will follow you back. So so you can always tell him if he's doing something wrong, Mr. Quan. But you can also lead him too. That's what I like. So I wanted to come on. I didn't want to miss any more of my time worrying about how I look, and I wasn't fashionable enough and all of that. So no one else have anything else to add, or any comments they want to add about customer service? The Bible says, come as you are, and I am here as I am. But as my mother always says, say, come as you are, but when you know better, you do better. But I know better, and I do better. But right now, this is what it's going to have to be until I get my father taken care of. Because it also say you have to take care of your parents, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. So as always, I never take light of you coming to join me, listen to what I have to say. And I hope some things that I've said has helped someone, or you can pass it on to other people that it may benefit. Let me reintroduce. My name is Kel May. Yes, old school. That's my mother. She was an evangelist. My name is Kel May. I am the customer service coach with Bottom Line Customer Experience Management. I train teens, employees, and young adults on customer service techniques in order to enhance the customer's experience, which is the best way to increase the bottom line for the company. You can always send me questions, topics, or tips on to my email, which is my name, Kel May, KAYLMAY @ymail.com. You can always go to my website, find out a little bit more about me and some things that I have going on at my website as well, which is kelmay.wix.com/the-bottom-line. So also, just to let you know what I have going on, if you're on Blab, I'm actually going to be doing my first Blab on Thursday at 12 Eastern Time. So that's going to be super exciting. I'm excited about that. It's going to be, my co-host is going to be Kelly Raven. It's going to be Mr. Relentless, which is Jim Beach, and it's going to be Rick Cooper. And we're going to be talking about how do you win, entrepreneur inspiration, just inspiring entrepreneurs and answering some of the questions that they have when they first start their business, right, so that they won't give up. So that's going to be our first conversation. I am going to try to have a Blab once a week. So everyone is going to be invited sometime. So don't think just because I invited someone else before you, I won't be inviting you. I have my whole list at home. So I will be inviting everyone. We're going to be talking about everything. But that's the next step up from Periscope. It's going to be Blab. Also on, if you live in Georgia, I'm going to have a Georgia Periscope meetup on January the 9th from 5 to 7 at Cumberland Mall in the food court. It's going to be in the back where the food court opens up from the outside so the public can come in, and you'll be able to see the little posters that I have, say, you know, Georgia Periscope meetup, come here or meet here or whatever. So that's going to be on January the 9th, so I'm super excited about that. Pass the word if you know anyone that lives in Georgia. It's awesome for us to be on Periscope and online and seeing one another and listen to one another, but the best thing about that, we can take it offline and we can get those relationships started, those collaborations started, and we get those, you know, to learn more about people in person, right? So that's going to be very exciting about that. The other thing, on January the 14th, I am going to be doing a Periscope training, actually, for people who are just getting on Periscope, who have never been on Periscope, or who have been on Periscope and they have just been looking at other scopers and they've never scoped themselves. I will be doing a class January the 14th at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Hiram, Georgia. The class can hold 30 participants, and as I looked this morning, it was filled with 25 already. So I have 5 more seats available, so I'm super excited about that as well. So we have a lot of things going on for January that I'm excited about. I can't wait to start my virtual trainings again. That's going to start on the 15th. So we just have a lot of things going on. I said that I wanted to start January 2016 with a bang. That's exactly what I've done. And I almost let the devil not do that, or not allow me to do that. And I have to say, I allowed him not to let me do that because what was going on with my father. Then I came to my common sense and said, you know what? We're going to have trials and tribulations in life, but we can't let those things stop us. We still have to go forth, and we still have to walk in our walk in life, right? And God will make a way for all of those things to happen for me to still do the things I need to do for my business and still be able to take care of my father. And thank God I have a great helpmate, which is my husband, who helps me do anything that I need to have done, which he's made my copies for my classes. He went and ordered my posters for my Periscope meetup. When I've had to go somewhere else, thank you, Mr. Corn. When I've had to go somewhere else, he's been able to come down here and stay with my father for me to attend other classes or other meets and stuff. I wish I was in Georgia. I've only been on Periscope a few months. Now, I am going to record it, so look out for that as well. You'll be able to go on catch.me and see that as well, because I want to be able to help some people not make the same mistakes that I made when I came on. And I want more people to scope and not worry about making mistakes before they, scope, because we're all going to make mistakes. But these are just some of the things that you can do so that it can be a little bit better for you and a little bit easier for you, because you just have to think about, you're just talking to your friends. That's all. I'm talking into my iPad, but I feel like I'm just talking to all of my friends. Look at Mr. Quan. He called me Rose, just like I already know them. So we just have to do that, and I want to make sure you're done. So pay attention to that. I'm going to put that on catch.me as well, so you'll be able to pay attention to that and learn some things from that. So as always, thank you so much for joining me, taking the time out of your day. I know there's so many other things you could be doing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. I hope I've said something to help someone. So thank you to all of my replay viewers. Thank you to all of my web viewers and everyone that has come on live. I truly appreciate you. And I will see you all on tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr. Quan. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Keep me in your prayers. Bye-bye.